No, speaking of the page, it's kind of what, kind of, helped me out with my book of Earl for today. And it's about therapy. And I talked about how when I retired in April, that it took him about 4 months to actually get me to see a psychologist. And with the El Paso VA, yeah, you guys suck, right? And the first one they sent me to was like this kid psychologist where there was a bunch of like immigrants running across the border getting tackled and people screaming, and I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Like I thought I was walking into a place to go die. But no, I just, my shrink who I got now, she's awesome. Okay, and she broke something down for me the other day, and it was weird because it was right along the lines of the post that's getting a lot of comments on it. It's a lady who she's friends with a spouse of a retired guy who has anger management problems, and she was asking for advice. Dave, you saw the post, right?
Yep. I remember
and she was asking for advice, and I got on there, and people started arguing with the Big Earl, which is never really a good idea, right? And I'm sitting there and like, hey, look, I'm glad that you're concerned, but you in no way should approach this motherfucker unless you have some kind of report that you're not telling us. I was like, you do not say a fucking word to this guy. I don't care what he's doing. All right. That the spouse is confiding in you because she trusts you. Right. And, maybe you're her outlet. As soon as you go talk to this dude, right, you just ruin that for her. Right. So it's like, don't do that. But it rang similarly close because, we as guys and, maybe even females, they can comment on it. But, we have that generalization that we don't have problems as guys, right? Like we're strong, right? And we don't need therapy. Right? We're not supposed to show our emotions, right? And again, we're in this new time, this new world where we can't generalize. Like, you know why generalizations exist? Because there's statistical data to back it up, right? And there's a generalization that's most likely that's it. That's what medicine is. When you go to a doctor, they generalize based on your age, based on your overall health, based on what else is going around. They generalize what's wrong with you, right? And then if it need be, they find out more. But the point is she asked me, what do I want to get from this? And I said, I'm really angry with my kids. And I said, I never really used to be real angry with my kids. I'm like, please help me, right? And so she went a way that I didn't. She's a psychologist, right? So she did, she started to psychology me, right? And she's like, hey, talk about when you get upset with your kids. And sure as shit, I'm talking about like, well, my legs are shaking a little bit, like I'm starting to get, a little anxious. And she goes, talk about what you loved about so much about the Army. Right. And I started talking about the Army and I got real calm, and I didn't even realize, but she started writing words down, and she was writing security, trust, and then, brotherhood and purpose. And she's like, all those things in the Army that met what you wanted. You're a confident guy, you're successful, all these things you didn't have to worry about because you had your brothers to your left and right that were taking care of that for you if you were ever going to step out of line. And then she makes an arrow to PTSD, right? And she goes, these are all symptoms of that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's what's been beaten into you in the Army for, 18 years was that you could rely on these guys around you. You could make mistakes and your battle buddy was going to pick you up. She's like, now with your kids, she's like, where would you rate them in your priority of your life? And I'm like, number one. And she goes, that's the problem. She goes, you don't have trust that you're doing the right job, and it's insecurity. All right. They're your most valuable possession. And you're afraid that you're not doing the right thing. And she's like, so that PTSD from the last 20 years of your life where you were absolutely calm in the military, doing much more harder shit, but you were calm, right? And it's like, maybe it's because you're afraid, and maybe it's because you're frustrated. And she's like, anger is your cover emotion. Right? You get angry to cover the fact that you're afraid, because for the last 18 years you weren't afraid. You were happy. You knew that when you went to work, you were going to be surrounded by battle buddies. Like, you knew all that stuff. So that was real powerful to me. So I wanted to share that with the group of people watching, is that, and then I go, can I share this with my kids? And she's like, how old are they again? I'm like 13 to 12. And she was like, absolutely, you need to share it with them. And just share this with them. So I shared that breakdown with them, and I'll give the shrink some credit. That night, my oldest daughter opened up to me about something. Right? She came in, because that was my biggest fear. I go, I'm afraid that my kids won't come to me when they're older because of how freaking angry I get. And that's terrifying to me, that they won't come to me with a problem because dad's going to fly off the handle.
Especially two girls, man.
Yeah. And so like I said, that's what I wanted fixed. And right away, my daughter talks about a friend she's helping in school who she opened up about it. She started crying, all this kind of stuff. But again, I was hiding the fact that they're my most precious thing in the world, and anger was ruining it. Okay, that was my cover emotion. Right? So that's the book of Earl for today, is go get fucking therapy. All right? Even if you don't think that you need it, go get it. All right? And it's probably going to
doesn't make you weak. It makes you actually much stronger to say, hey, I got an issue, I need to go get some help. Like, people want to like always say, oh, go get help. It makes you, that's that internal programming, man, where like, it makes you weak.
It's a generalization that
it
as
is.
A man, you're not supposed to do that.
Which that is the craziest thing anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. It's okay to cry sometimes. I don't give a fuck.
So then the shrink yelled at me, because she almost got me. Right? She almost got me. Like, so she had me doing this drill where she's like, I feel this because of this. So fill in the blank.
I've done that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like I was doing it, and it seems elementary, right? But whatever. Obviously I can't control my emotions, so I'm acting like a kid. So I might as well be taken back to elementary school.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it's like, I feel this. I feel scared because my girls might not come to me. And I started to get choked up a little bit. Right. And then right away, and she's just quiet. She's just listening. And I go, I feel good though, because I just sold suicide intervention training to the 82nd Airborne. I'm gonna get a fat ass commission check, right? And she goes, see, stop that shit right there. She's like, stop. She's like, that you just completely stopped your therapy right there and went right back into like, I was just gonna make a joke because fuck this is stupid.
Defensive mode, like you just said, yeah.
Exactly, defensive mode. She's like, you see, so yeah, Book of Earl, go get therapy, right?
We use humor to deal with the uncomfortable.
We do, 100%.
We've been doing it.
Spot
on.
on.
Doing it our whole lives. I was sitting down with a police officer, that's doing some work in trauma, and they talked about, the dark humor, making jokes about things, and it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, and so again, that's it. It's been awesome. I had to wait 4 months to get it, and then the behavioral health specialist I had when I was active at the Sergeant Major's Academy, she was okay, but she just kind of didn't do anything. But it is what it is. So I appreciate it, Shrink. She hates when I call her Shrink, and she watches the show, so I appreciate it. Really helped last night for sure when I was talking to my daughter. But all right. On a lighter note. Yeah.
On a lighter note, that was good, man.
Yeah.
CSM Burke's been waiting.